So I want to get right into understanding how other people communicate. I want to bring us around to communication styles. I just want to, but I want to level set this before we get into it. We are going into a high profile meeting. Naomi's going to the board meeting, and Naomi's saying, I have my agenda. I need to speak about these 5 things. Okay. And we get very much into our own heads about what we want to push out in that meeting and or get decisions on. The problem is that when we get into a meeting, we are thinking so much like ourselves and not enough like them. Right? So that's the scene. When you start flipping the conversation around a bit and start thinking about what they really need and want to hear, you need to think about their styles. So you've got an analytical type, you've got an amiable type, you've got an expressive type person, you've got a driver type personality. Now we all possess all of these qualities. Just some of us lean stronger to some of these qualities more than others. Let's talk about them. If you're an analytical thinker, you value accuracy, organization, systematic, quality, task-oriented, you're a very detail-oriented person. Those are the things you value. If you're an amiable type or lean more towards this, you want harmony. You're a very dependable person. You're very people-oriented. You're also very diplomatic. If you're the driver type, you value candid, forceful, pragmatic. You make it happen. You're independent. You're a mover and a shaker. And if you're an expressive, you appreciate things. In other words, you're spontaneous. You're more fast-paced. You tend to be fun-loving. You talk a lot. You're articulate. Now, as I said, to be a good leader, you possess all of these qualities, but we lean towards one or the other. What I'm about to do in this next slide, I'm going to ask you, which one of these do you identify the most with? In other words, which one of these would be the first one? Like for me, I'm a CEO, I'm the driver. And then you think, what is your manager or the person or this individual that you're struggling with? It doesn't even need to be the manager. What style are they? So my question to you is, in the chat, just curious, which one do you identify with? You're going to write it in there, and then which one would be the manager? And just write it the way Rachel gave the example, analytical driver. Because what we're about to do is we're about to give you explanations on how to communicate more effectively with that other person. You're the driver, and the manager's saying, oh, you just want it. Oh, yeah. And Carlos, you are the analytic, and you've got this boss that's a driver. Okay, very good. So I want to help you all right now. Here are the challenges that we face when we work with these kinds of folks. These are the things that can cause problems. Analytics can tend to be, not always, indecisive, nitpicky. They're slower in making decisions. They're perfectionists. That amiable will tend to be paralyzed with conflict. So that driver amiable, ooh, that's a tough one, because the driver's trying to get things done and the amiable is like, ooh, I don't like that. Drivers domineering, they tend to be impersonal, somewhat abrasive. They don't really mean to be, but they are, just because they want to get things done, and they don't listen very well. And the expressive don't listen as well either, because they like to talk. So they tend to be a little impatient and practical. They get distracted. Now, here are the techniques to communicate more effectively with an analytical person. Number one, you're putting your meaning and your thoughts together. You need to take your time. So introduce things slower than you normally would. It's not the kind of person where you go in and you give them 3 options and then you want a decision right away. It's funny, I was sitting here laughing as we just moved into our new home. Jeff is an analytic, and I'm like, okay, Jeff, we need to do this, 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 and this. And he's like, that is too much. He said, that is too much, because he needs to process it. Like, I need to give him a couple of hours to think about it. And I'm like, but we be prepared and thorough, listen more, talk less. Now, you're communicating with the driver. You need to be on time. You need to get right down to business. Facts should be goal-oriented, like where are you taking us? You also want to provide multiple solutions. They like to choose. And you want to minimize, avoid those power struggles. If you're communicating with an amiable, and I saw that earlier. Yes, Carolyn, you're the driver and your manager boss is an amiable. Okay, you need to be listening more, express appreciation more, offer help, invite contribution, but keep things stable with that person so that they can make the decisions. Because you want to do things fast, they want to do things a little bit slower. So you might have to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to present this information and go away a little while. Let that person process. That's an expressive person. For them to feel a part of the team, to feel valued, they need personal contact, rapport. They need their feelings acknowledged. You want to avoid details with them. You need to show enthusiasm with them.